Hey everybody, welcome back to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz. Jackie Lady are still at Lake Jackson. Borg isn't here anymore. She took the beignets and run. So today we're going to do something I've always gotten in restaurants and stuff. I've always seen it. I've never actually tried it. It's a Gulf Coast thing that we really like because it's got seafood in it. I guess that's why. This is another one that takes a little while because you got to let it sit and kind of cook for a while. So once you cook it, you mix it, you got to let it set. So this will take a little while, so remember that. Before we do, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff that we're required by contract. I beg you to do. Ring the little bell, because we try to do these on Tuesdays and Fridays, but because of COVID, it's taking a little while. But just upload the things, and it'll give you a little notification on the bell thing. So click on it, click it, make say on, the usual YouTube-y stuff. You're not new, and let's get right into it. So this doesn't look like a lot, but there's mostly just chopping and prepping. There's very little cooking. So you're going to need some shrimp. These are frozen. I got them at the Asian food market for right at $6, I think. I tried to thaw them out a little bit before I cooked them. So you're going to need a fresh avocado, be able to squeeze it a little bit. 2 of the tomatoes, a jalapeno or serrano, depending on your level of heat you want. 1 of the red onions, a decent sized one there. 2 of the lemons and 3 of the limes, depending on the size, but that's the kind of thing. 1 bundle of cilantro, and you're going to need some kosher salt, man. And I guess water to boil this stuff. But if you don't know how to boil water, I can give you a link. So get you a pot. You want to fill it about halfway to 3/4, just enough to put all the shrimp in it, right? So get you a lid. Lids always help. And put it over here and crank it up. I put it about high, and it boiled it pretty quick. So you're going to put the shrimp in here and let them sit for 2 or 3 minutes, right? Just put them in, whiskers and all. Just throw the whole thing in there. Once you get them all in there, cover it up. If the whiskers poke out, like, you don't need to save those. You can just go ahead and break those off and throw them in the trash. And you want to do it, like I said, 2 or 3 minutes or until they start going opaque, right? So do 3. So you can always pull them out and check. These are hot. They've been in boiling water. I'm not going to tell you how I learned that. But you can kind of see there how it's turned to like that opaque pink color where most shrimp are like a gray, almost translucent color. Yeah, that's hot. Ouch, hot. Okay, so the steam should let you know that it's hot. Once you do that, let it sit for a minute and then strain and drain them. Put those. Now, I'm going to show you a trick. Get you one of these, plastic bags if we got it, and put all your trash for your shrimp in there. That way you don't have to worry about taking out the trash that day. You can just take that bag out and throw it out. Because if you do, it's going to smell like shrimp in the entire house forever, and it smells like horrible. So first things first, pull off the head. And then pull off these legs right here. These little legs right here in the middle. Get those out as best you can. Sometimes they hang in there pretty good. Now you want to pull off this clear shell. It's all around it. Be sure to get every piece of it because you don't want to be chomping into this and just get a mouthful of, exoskeleton. It's just gnarly, okay? The tail, just pinch it down at the bottom and it should just pop right out. Leave that meat out of there. Be sure to get any of the legs that stick by or any of the shell. Now try to grab it in the middle. I'm going to show you this thing. It's kind of an important piece. This is giant shrimp, so if you can't just pinch the skin off the back, just get you a knife, run it right down the middle, right, and it'll split it, and you'll be able to open it up and look and see. This is what's called deveining. That's not a vein, that's the digestive tract. That's literally poo. That's shrimp poo that you're seeing there. So you want to try to pull that out. We're going to rinse it here in a minute anyway, but you want to try to get as much of it as you can right now. So don't worry about it getting everywhere. Now we're going to go hose that off. That's just gross. But you got to do that. Do that for all of these. Once you got them, like you said, go rinse them. Like, nice and clean. Come back. Get your cutting board ready because it's time to cut stuff. Now, cut these into smaller chunks. Now, shout out to Andy for the knife. Thank you very much. See if you can tell in this video where I cut off part of my finger. Now, I got a big bowl. It's my biggest. It's my Santa Claus bowl. I don't care. It's August, but I'm using my Santa Claus bowl because it's got a lid, and I can let this up for a little while. So go ahead and slice these into smaller chunks. Once you got all those, just go ahead and set them aside. We're just going to start fixing, chopping stuff and piling it in there. So your red onion, be sure to get all this papery skin off. Cut both ends off either side. Just get rid of that papery stuff. Now, if you don't get it all, remember when you're cutting it, it's going to pop loose. But if you get all compulsive about it like I do, you're like, nope, got to skin it all before I start cutting. Just go ahead and scrape all that papery stuff because you don't. It's just going to be a hard part that's really hard to chew through. It's going to get in your teeth and make it that noise when you bite on it. It's horrible. All right, so slice your onion in half. Now, this is down to your own personal preference, how small you want. Yeah, it's lucky I didn't cut my finger off right here, okay? So you cut it one way and I cut it back the other way. It makes it into roughly squares. I don't know if that's what they mean by dice because it makes it into little cubes. But cut it one way, cut it the other. It puts it in some pretty small pieces where you can get multiple pieces of the food in your mouth. You want to do that with all your vegetables here. Make sure you washed all these first. I did. I washed that one. I washed all the papery skin and then pulled all the papery skin off, so I kind of feel silly. On your onions and tomatoes, be sure to pull off any of the stickers. The limes and lemons, you're not throwing the skins in, so you can go ahead and leave those on there. That's the easiest way right there. You can use your knife to just scrape that stuff up in there. Now your tomatoes, same thing. Just cut them long ways. It makes them real easy to flip over. Put the flat side down, and then just start one way. Bunch of lines. And then you're going to flip it around and cut it long ways again. Now, if you get a sharp knife, you don't have to worry about squashing your tomato or having it slither all over the place or worry about your fingers getting in it too well. So sharp knife is better if you can afford it or you can find one. Once you get these diced, just throw these in here. Now, I've had some people say to the tomatoes you can de-seed them, like just cut them in half and then go hose them and get all the seeds out of it. I've never minded it too much, so I just went ahead and do that. So do that with both your tomatoes. Now I'm going to show you this now. Slicing, slicing, slicing. Ha-hoo-ha-hee-ha. Straight up ninja style, right? Throw that stuff in there. Now, once you get it all cut down to this end, sometimes they get that big eye, right? So just go ahead and leave that part out. You can leave that, you don't want to have to leave that little stub where the vine attached to it. So just go ahead and throw that out. Cut all this up. Now, cilantro, got to wash it real good. Now, some people do it like the teeny tiny little pieces. I just cut it down once for the leaves here, relatively wide chops because I don't mind cilantro. I really enjoy it. Some other people that I really feel sorry for because they have that genetic stuff where it tastes like soap and I feel bad for it. This one you can also use the stems. So just go ahead and chop that down. Be sure to get the cilantro shoelace out of there and cut this down and do it twice. And that's where I lost the end of my finger. Cut off part of my fingernail. Now it's become a game of let's find the fingernail. No, I found it. It was stuck to my finger. That's gross. So, and then your jalapeno, this is a bit different too. Again, you want to cut off where that vine was touching there, and then cut it long ways. Now, you want to go ahead and take out the seeds and the veins. Now, if you got a knife and a skilled hand, you can just kind of give it 2 cuts down either side, and that whole, what they call the vein inside, will just peel loose, and you can get it. Try to get all the seeds out if you can, mostly because they're bitter and they're horrible. And you don't want to be sprouting jalapenos in your stomach. Again, 2 slices, middle piece comes out. But now, take them, go hose these off, get all the last seeds out of them. Once you get that done, right back the other way. Now, it's easier to cut these long ways first, because then you're going to be fighting the skinny way if you do it the other way. So, yeah, just do them both that way. Cut these down. Again, the jalapeno is optional. I don't know if I said that earlier. The pepper is, it's traditional, but if you don't like spicy stuff for whatever reason you can't have spicy stuff, you can leave it out. That's fine. So now you're going to want a spoon. Now this part can be time consuming. You can just replace it with limes and lemons, or you can go and scrape all the seeds, but I'm going to show you this neat trick. You do the cilantro last. So you just squeeze the ever living crap out of these lemons. Use that spoon. This is one I was telling you about. Use the spoon and just gouge it, and it helps get all of the juice out of there. This is very much a forearm workout. Just squeeze the hell out of these lemons. So just squeeze. Yeah, it's a COVID workout. I've been squeezing lemons. So as you'll notice, now the cilantro's there. It's catching all those seeds that are coming out of it, right? And putting them on top, and you can see them real easily. Use a spoon every so often and just reach and pull the seeds out. You can't get the seedless ones. You can't just use the bottle juice. See, I just took my spoon, pulled out my seeds, over and over, just because I'm lazy. You can take those out and just get rid of those. Now, like I said, there's ways that you can put like a cheesecloth or a plastic or a filter or something underneath it, but I'm lazy. So I enjoy doing much more work to do this same accomplishment. The limes, not so many seeds, so just cut and squeeze all of those. I don't keep the skins and the rinds and the guts for this. I've seen people cut those out and put them in. Just not a fan. So get you half a tablespoon of the kosher salt. Well, roughly. That went over a little bit, but not near as salty as it was called for in the recipe. But that's all I put in the test kitchen. So give it a nice toss. All right, give it in the stir. Once you get all this stirring done, you want to put the lid on it and put it in your fridge. Don't let it sit out. Just put the lid on it. Put it in your fridge to 1 to 4 hours, right? I mean, you could do this the day before. That's fine. Now, the lime and lemon juice do cook this stuff down a little bit. But just go ahead, put your lid on it, and make sure it lasts. Don't put the avocado in yet. We'll come to that in a minute. So 1 to 4. Remember that, 1 to 4. So it's been a little while. I think I did this for 4 hours. You give it a nice stir. You see how that lime and lemon juice sit down at the bottom. Like I said, it really starts cooking the vegetables and stuff in there just a little bit, so not completely raw. Now, right before you serve it, you want to get your avocado. Now, I'm going to show you a trick of my avocado. I think we've done these before, but I want to break it down again. So just take your knife and cut it all the way around the middle. Like you put the blade in, it'll hit the seed, and you can feel it, and it'll just walk all the way around. Twist it, top will pop off. Now get the seed out. Just hit it with that knife. Pulls it loose. Done. Now, same knife. Put 3 lines. Hopefully, most of the time the skin will stop the knife. You've got to really sharpen. You got to be very, very careful. And then put 3 lines back the other way. Bam, right? I've seen some people squeeze it. I'm not a big fan of squeezing the avocado at this point. So I just take a spoon, put it at the top, and it'll just peel that right out of there. And perfect little chunks, man. Perfect little, not necessarily cubes because it's round on one side. So I don't know what the hell that shape is called or whatever. But just pull that out there and put those in before you serve it. Like you don't want to do this the night before because it'll turn really brown. So do both halves of your avocado. Give it a nice stir before you're ready to serve it. And then you're done, man. Like it'll hold up in the fridge 1 to 2 days with the avocado because it turns brown really quick. But that's it, man. This is super simple. I've always seen it. It always sounds super fancy, and it's fresh, and it's great, and it's summertime food, and it's got seafood in it. And like I said, the most expensive part is the avocado and the shrimp, right? So I did all this, and I think all total it was like $7 and some change because all the other vegetables were very, very cheap. You got to try this if you haven't had it. This is very, very good. So there you have it, man. Ceviche with avocado because I can, and it's Texas. It's different. It's new. I like it. It doesn't have as much salt as the places where I usually get it at like the buffets and things, but this is really good. If y'all do it differently, you want to see us try and do it differently, put it down in the comments. Let us know. We very much appreciate that. You can find us on social media stuff. You can also find us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Patreon. Shout out to our patron. Thank you very much. But you can find us on all those at Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us on Instagram at Living Between. And I'll see you next time. I'm going to go eat some ceviche.